go. Tell everybody out there in the world to subscribe and like to Serious and Silliness.
Like and subscribe to Serious and Silliness. You're going to get a wide variety of content. Should keep everybody happy.
That's right. Thank you very much, Jason. So I have rising star arm wrestling phenom, Jason Merlo. What's up, Jason?
What's up, pal? Pleasure.
How you doing, man? How's everything going?
Good. Just a full days of work. Winding down for the day.
Yeah. Same here, man. So the rumor around town is that you are a rising star and you are a super talent in the arm wrestling community.
That's very kind words for whoever is saying that. I feel like I've been knocking at the door for quite a bit now, at an upper tier level that I've been wanting to get a shot at. So yeah, I'm doing my best I can.
So how far have you come along?
Pretty well. I've gotten a few shots at some top guys. So I think everything has been coming around pretty well. But now there's, I'm in a weird spot. Certain guys, it's at the level now where I'm actually a threat to some of the top guys. So getting a super match with some guys is proving to be a little tricky.
You have the Marvin Hagler syndrome. You know who Marvin Hagler was?
I do.
Yeah, before he became a big name, the guys were trying to avoid him because he was dangerous and he didn't bring a lot of money or prestige. And until he won the title, and then then he would start getting the big shots with the big names, Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard. So you got to put the work in, son. But it's going to come sooner or later. It's that happens with all great athletes. Not all great athletes. That happens with the great athletes that have to put the work in. Right?
Of course.
And I always make analogies with boxing because I know boxing better than arm wrestling. But it was a great movie called Raging Bull. Did you ever see it?
Of course.
Yeah. And there's a scene where his brother is his manager, and his brother is telling him, nobody wants to fight you, right? They got to give you a shot. So, and he's telling them, if you lose, you win. If you win, you lose, and so on and so forth. So you're in that kind of position where, all right, Jason Merlo is dangerous, but he's not a top guy, and he doesn't bring a lot of money. Let's stay away from him.
That's true. Yeah, and one of the big things that has kind of come into arm wrestling is the social media presence, and that's something that I'm lacking. But I'm a quiet guy to begin with. I'm not all over online. It's probably a fault for me trying to progress, but I'm not, not a shit talker online. I know a lot of guys, they get a lot of action and a lot of spotlight on them when they say some outlandish stuff, and that's just not in my character. So I'm just going to let everything naturally come as it goes. Where I'm at right now, one of the things that I always say is I'm patient, and the longer guys wait, the worse it is for them when it eventually happens. So I can wait all day. I have no problem waiting.
Hey, listen, there are guys out there that have made it that aren't shit talkers. Look at Paul Lynn. He's one of the best in the world and the nicest guy in the world, and so not a shit talker.
Absolutely.
So how have you won any national titles, regional titles? What have you won?
I haven't really traveled too much. I personally, knowing at the level that I pull at, I'm definitely at a national level. Like I said, I never really traveled for much. And over the last few years also, last 5 years, there's not really a national tournament anymore with arm wrestling because it's broken out into all these different leagues. And nationals has kind of lost its prestige. So it's more really what tournaments or high level tournaments that you go to that you can place or win in order to kind of give you an idea of where you are.
Okay. No, it does seem like a whole shit show. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of, there's not one league like you said, like in football as the NFL and MLB and whatnot. And yeah, it's kind of all over the place and scattered all over the place. Well, tell me how you broke into arm wrestling.
So I was growing up as a kid. I was always athletic. Basketball was my thing. Going through elementary school, that was my thing. Once I got into high school, I did basketball freshman year, and then realized that it was a full-time job. And after freshman year, I decided to step away from basketball. I was tired of doing 7 days a week practice, and decided to step away. And in order to fill that, I guess, kind of competitive drive, I got into lifting. Started lifting all throughout high school. And as I was lifting, one of my father's friends who used to arm wrestle years ago, he just said, your build, your length, your stature, you'd probably be really good at it. And when I turned 17, I destroyed him out of nowhere. I just destroyed him on the table. I had no table time, no practice, no nothing, just from watching videos. And then I actually entered a competition when I was 21 in New York. It's my first competition ever. Like I said, still no table time at that point. So I pulled amateur level at 198, went undefeated, entered 2 more tournaments in New York, went undefeated, and then realized, all right, if I want to get serious with this, I need to find a team. So I didn't find the team until 2015. So from that time, from when I was 21 until 2015, like I said, it was just all watching videos online. I had no idea where to buy a table, no clue. But I found the team in September 2015 and finally started training from then on. So once I started training with the Beast Mode in Jersey, I was hooked.
Okay. Is that where you're from, New Jersey?
I'm actually from Staten Island. I moved to Jersey.
You and I have a lot in common.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Did you do the triple jump? I did the triple jump. I went Brooklyn, Staten Island, Jersey.
No, I was born and raised in Staten Island.
Oh, really? What part?
North Shore, Port Richmond.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I lived in Eltingville.
Oh, yeah.
I still got
grandpa.
Oh, yeah. I still have family over there. I have, my mother and my brothers and my sister-in-laws and everybody's over there,
Yeah, my parents still, they're still there. But yeah, no, once I started the house search 4 years ago, I realized it's out of control.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Where in Jersey are you now?
I'm in Central Jersey now, so Old Bridge, Sayreville area.
Oh, okay. I'm in Bloomfield actually.
Oh yeah, so you're north, yeah. That's actually close to where we've been training.
Yeah, well, I'm actually pretty friendly with Jason Ciardi. Is that his name? Ciardi?
Yeah. He's with obviously he's created his own team as well with Chris. High five, but yeah, he stemmed from Beast Mode.
Yeah, good dude, really good dude.
Yeah, Jay's great.
And his stepson Teddy, great guys, great kids.
Awesome.
Great people.
Awesome. Oh yeah.
So now that you have this reputation where you're good, but you're not popular enough where you're going to be a big draw.
Correct.
What's your idea to break out of this?
To be honest, it's just honestly, eventually somebody's going to give me a shot. That's really what it's going to come down to. Eventually somebody's going to give me a shot. And then it's going to really stick. I'm definitely more open to traveling, especially in the US now. So if there is stuff that is going on that definitely piques my interest, I'm all ears for it. But it depends on the timing of everything. There's definitely other priorities in life. I have a 1-year-old now, and I'm a diehard fisherman. So fishing comes first before arm wrestling. So all the tools that come up throughout the season, like, they take priority. So honestly, everything has to just fall into place. Training doesn't stop. So everything's good on that front. But I know I need to put a little more effort into, even though it's really gonna tear me down to do it, but I gotta talk more on social media to get more people following. I have a YouTube channel, which I've been on and off with. There's definitely fans there. But I need to just stick at that. But like I said, what it's going to come down to is I'm eventually just going to get a shot, and then it's going to finally stick. It's only a matter of time. Once it does, then we're good.
Well, you could do this in professional wrestling. When guys don't have good mic skills, they get a manager, and that's the shit talker.
There you go.
Yeah, right. Like
There you go.
Big John Studd always had Bobby the Brain Heenan, and he would talk the shit for him. So you got to get one of the guys from '98. I think Ryan would probably be really good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, and I'm good friends with Ryan.
Or James Reed would be good. He talks a lot of shit.
Absolutely. I talked to James plenty. So like it'll eventually happen. And like I said, I'm patient. I can sit back and wait because, like I said, the longer it takes to actually get there, the more prepared I will be because I know where I'm at and it's an upward trajectory, pretty steady. So like I said, the longer it takes, the worse it is for everybody that I'm going after. So now's the time you want to beat me because then you want me to stop asking the question. Pretty clear. Now's the time you want to beat me, earlier rather than later.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't think that's the point. I don't think that's going to be a problem though. I think they know to stay away from it, which is the problem.
Yes.
So if you're not a shit talker, what do you do when you're on the table and somebody's talking shit in your face?
Actually, so I'm very quiet. The way I operate, I'm not one of those loud mouth guys. I don't slam the table. I don't go fucking berserk. I don't do any of that shit. And the only reason why I don't do that, one, it's not really in my character. Like I said, I'm quiet. But two, when I'm calm, cool, and collected, I'm able to think. And I think being composed and thinking about everything that's going on has helped me become, I guess, relatively successful on the table. I'm able to think things out and be pretty rational on the table. So I think, like I said, if I get somebody that's loudmouth screamer, I'm laughing inside because I know what's going to happen.
That doesn't get under your skin. You're calm. You're cool.
No. I love that because I know they're gonna lose, and then I know it's gonna eat them inside. So
I wouldn't be able to do it, dude, because you guys are right here in front of my face, and if you're talking, that would bother the hell out of me. I wouldn't be able to do it. I don't know how. Sometimes, like I don't know how. Like some guys don't get just punched in the face. Like how do you not get hit with the table? It's unbelievable. It's just
right. You're right. But no, like I said, it's not my character. I haven't really had somebody really badmouth shit talk me. I think the people that know me, are pretty respectful. But like I said, if people do get heated at the table and they get their beer muscles, so they're gonna, certain guys go ballistic, but I love that because I can be calm, cool, and collected. And like I said, that works to my advantage. They're letting their adrenaline take over, and whatever plan they had goes right out the window. I'm still thinking about exactly what I'm trying to execute and what I'm trying to do on the table. So like I said, I think that trait about me really helps my performance.
So you're the Pedro Martinez of arm wrestling.
Oh my God.
Do you remember that? Do you remember when he was pitching at Yankee Stadium and 50,000 fans were screaming, "Who's your daddy?" And he just struck everybody out. And he was just like nobody was talking to him. It was unbelievable. So you're that guy. Right. No matter what you say, you go.
You're right. Yeah. But then again, it took the Red Sox so long to take it back from the Yanks. So
yeah, exactly.
It took a while.
That was a great feud. Baseball sucks now. It really does.
That's another thing. I don't watch any mainstream sports really anymore. I'm just tired of politics and all the other bullshit that comes along with it. I really don't follow it anymore. But like 97, 98, 99, 2000 Yanks, that was like the best team in baseball history, if you ask me. That was true sports back then.
Yeah, it's watered down tremendously, and but anyway, let's get back on track. What do you think you have to work on? Is there anything you think you have to work on?
On the table?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I definitely have holes. There's no question about it. My left is a little more complete at the moment. And I think that's only because, so right-handed originally, back in 2017, I pulled RVJ. RVJ had no idea who I was, and I actually gave him a match at the table back then. But back then, I pulled him twice right-handed. We had 2 long matches right-handed, 2 long matches left-handed. I lost them both, but like I said, I gave him trouble. And right-handed, I remember trying to slip out of his grip one of those matches. I hit so hard back and my arm did not move, and he held on to my thumb. And I actually had a partial tear in my UCL in my elbow. Because of that injury. Like it wasn't bad enough to go get surgery or anything like that. Just had to let it heal, but there was still nagging things that I had to deal with over the years, which I kind of still deal with. But there's really nothing to really repair. I know Paulin has done PRP, that injection with pulling out your I don't know, it's a thing where it spins around a hydrofuse, pull certain cells out and you inject it into your elbow.
Jesus, I don't know. I have no idea.
So there's certain treatments that are out there that I know has helped him with his elbow. It might be something that I have to look into. But going back to my right, ever since that injury, I think my right has slowed progress where my left continued to take off. So my left has really been pretty injury free for ever since 2015. My right is a different story, and I'm right-handed, but my left has, like I said, stepped up a bit. So I think there's a little truth and validity to, I know Devon has said it before, when something happens to one side of your body, your other side of your body like kind of picks up and takes off with it. And I think I've seen that with my left arm. So barring that injury in my right, it has made me pull a certain way with my right arm. And there's more holes with my right than there are with my left. And I think it's because of that specific injury.
What other injuries have you had?
So actually, most recently, back in March, pulling in PA at the 98% event, that was most recent there.
I got the shirt on.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's them. So on one of my pins, in the back of my right shoulder, I went a little bit in an awkward position with a little more side pressure. And I felt a twinge on the pin. And like the next few days, I couldn't even move my arm. Ended up going to the orthopedic. Turns out I strained my neck. So there's a certain way the top portion of your neck curves, and I reversed the curve of my neck. So, like I said, it's I forget what the medical term is for it, but it's a strained neck. And that eventually said, just work with it. It goes back into place. There's nothing to really do with it. But so that was 2 months ago. I still have, there's a little bit of cracking in the shoulder because of it, and just a little. I guess it's not 100%. Mm-hmm. So that is another injury now to add to my list on my right arm. It feels good though. Everything is coming along good with that, and I'm sure I'll be back up in 100% within another month or so. And I'm one of the guys that, there's certain people that say don't listen to your body and fight through everything. I'm not. I'm one of those guys that I like to listen to everything, and you have to know the difference between pain and soreness in order to let your body heal. Because I think that's one of the biggest things with arm wrestling is part of growth is letting your body heal.
Absolutely.
If you don't let your body heal, that leads to injuries and that causes setbacks. So I proceed with caution when certain injuries happen.
Okay.
So those are really my only 2 injuries that I've had. Nothing serious. Luckily, knock on wood. Don't want any tears. Don't want any broken anything. So everything's been all right since then. So that's just some of the stuff that arm wrestlers deal with, I guess.
Is there anybody out there that you have a hard time with? Somebody you can't beat, or somebody you go back and forth with, and it just drives you crazy?
That's a good question. I guess one of the guys that I've had the most matchups with, I guess, would be Brandon Elsesser. I've had the most.
He's good. I mean,
Of course, absolutely, yeah. He's a beast, and he's gotten bigger. He's gotten stronger, and he puts in the work for it. it's not. I haven't really come across somebody that I haven't been able to beat, like with a certain, repeated times. I haven't come across that, but he's been, I think, the person I pulled the most. He beat me last time we pulled in Virginia, but I still have a winning record on him, which I'm happy about. But he's kind of, he's heavier now, and it looks like he's trying to stay up there in that 220, 225, 230 even. He looks like he wants to stay up there. So I'm fine with him staying up there. I sit at 200 comfortably.
Yeah, I've had him on. He is a big dude. And
Yes,
super, super nice guy too. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't say a bad word about anybody,
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I had him on right after he beat Travis.
Yeah, so yes.
Yeah. Because I was like, who's this guy? And he beat Travis. I'm like, all right, I got to reach out to him, and get him on. Who influences you? Anybody up there and top guys that you like to learn from?
I train with Marcio Barboza.
Okay, right. Yeah, I kind of felt bad for him this past weekend. He didn't do as good as he wanted to, right?
Yeah, well, he did, but he did good. He did good in East vs. West. He won.
I thought there was somebody who he couldn't beat. I didn't do much research. I apologize, but I thought he lost to somebody. It was like 0-3 or something like that.
No, so he beat Tobias. He had a super match with the Tobias Sporong, and then he had another super match left-handed against I forget the guy's name, but he won that 3-0. No, he did good.
Oh, I apologize then, and I don't know why I thought that. Maybe I got him mixed up with somebody else,
No, but we pull with Marcio. Everybody pulls that. I pull with him every chance I get. You want somebody, in my opinion, at least that's how I always was. When I started training with Team Beast Mode, I would always gravitate. I want the strongest person. I want the person who I see as the most technical, and I want to learn, be a sponge, absorb all that knowledge. But it's also good pulling with all different arms because you get, different hands, different styles to pull with. Marcio's one. Julio Rosario, he's pretty much like the creator of Team Beast Mode. He's excellent. He has a lot of knowledge in the sport. And then everybody else on the team has come along excellent. I mean, pretty strong team that helps out a lot. So yeah.
Were you at the Olympia this year?
I was not. I'm kicking myself because they paid.
What about the Arnold? Were you at the Arnold?
No, I did not go to the Arnold either.
Okay. Are you planning on doing those next year?
If I qualify, you have to qualify for it. At least I think they're probably still going to keep that. If I qualify for it, then I will. I actually qualified for it right before COVID.
COVID killed everything.
Yes,
it really did. Because I actually really like, and I'm not a big arm wrestling fan. I only got into arm wrestling when I started this, and I watched a ton of WAL stuff, and and I can't wait for it to come back because they did such a good job.
Hopefully they do come back. I mean, there's word out there that it's supposed to come back, and it's just surprising that they haven't come back yet because every other league has popped up, new leagues have popped up, everything has been in progress. So kind of surprised it hasn't yet, but who knows?
Yeah. I hope it does because the cinematography and the way they introduce everybody, it's just done really, really well.
Yeah, the production, the entertainment value behind it. I mean, the hype behind it. Everybody was all about the WAL. I mean, there was a lot of momentum behind the WAL. So, if it does come back, and when it does come back, I mean, I think that hype train will hop right back on. Yeah,
I hope so because I loved watching it. So let's talk about what happened this weekend because you can get me up to speed. So I know Paul Lynn did well.
Oh yeah, Paul did awesome.
And I was very happy for him because he's the one that broke open the door for arm wrestling for me because he was the first. He was the first guy that came on from that world on my podcast. So I was very happy when he won. Michael Todd.
Yes, he ended up getting beat 3-2. But yeah, he's in a tough spot. He's in a tough spot.
Yeah, I felt bad for him because I had him on too, and he didn't do so well against Devon, and then he's been losing more than he's winning recently. I kind of feel bad for him because I know he
Yeah.
lives, breathes, and eats arm wrestling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, there's speculation on there on, I mean, he's getting heavily involved in YouTube. Who knows if that has anything to do with his performance? Just his focus on the channel and stuff like that. But it's also just, there's the arm wrestling is getting so much more popular. There's a lot more people involved, and there's
Yes,
a lot more momentum into it. So the level is stepping up all over the place. So there's, when you're a top guy, you're getting hunted, and people know exactly what you do, and they're going to train for that. So it's probably a combination of it all. Like I said, it's he might be a little distracted with the YouTube thing, even though he is training all the time, but it could be a distraction for him. His hunger and his drive could be in a little different path. And like I said, with everybody else, the momentum of it, more and more people really, really pushing to be the all-time best. There's a lot of competition out there. So it's getting fierce.
Yeah, and he's getting up there, and there's new guys like yourself coming up, and like Brandon and so on and so forth. And it's a matter of time. It's the cycle of an athlete, it's the cycle of an athlete, it's the way it goes.
But then there's guys like Todd Hutchins and John Brzenk that
they're timeless. Yeah, they're freaks of nature. It's unbelievable. I just can't, especially John Brzenk. Like, it's just, how old is he? Got to be in the 60s, right? How old is he?
Oh, he's 57, or he's turning 58 this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and Todd did well. Both of them did well this past weekend too, right?
Yeah, I think Todd's 55 or 56. I think it was.
Yeah, he's when you see him physically, he looks amazing still for that age. And you could see he keeps himself in excellent shape.
He's in the best shape he's ever been.
But then you look at John Brzenk and you go, he don't look too strong. And then he rips your arm off.
Of course. And if you ever meet John Brzenk in person, I mean, his hand and his thumb, I mean, it's, you just look at that and it's just like, wow, it's a mitt. It's thick. It has miles on it. You just look at it and it's like, wow, that's a strong hand. Just by looking at it. Right.
Yeah, when I had met Michael Todd and I shook his hand, and my hand disappeared in his hand. And I was with my wife, and I said to him, what it felt like? I was shaking a bear's paw. I said, we have two pit bulls. So I said, on the bottom of Hercules, because Hercules is the big people we have. So the bottom of Hercules' paw, the pad. It's like, that seems like his whole hand. Like, that's what it felt like that I was shaking, a huge bear paw. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
So there's a guy like Michael Todd's hand, and then there's a guy like Sean Latimer's hand. That's a different league hand.
Yeah, I had him on too. Yeah,
2 or 3 times the size of Michael Todd's hand.
Really?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I've never had the pleasure of meeting him. I had him on, but he killed 2 birds with 1 stone for me, because he had done powerlifting and arm wrestling. So we talked about both of those.
Unbelievable background, 900-pound bench. Unbelievable.
Yeah, tremendous. Yeah, strong as. I actually, when I had him on, I was talking to Jason about it, and he said when he shows up, he basically, everybody kind of knows. Oh yeah, he's gonna win today.
Oh yeah.
So who else just almost this past weekend on the American side or the Canadian side?
Yeah, so it was Hutchins and Arackley, and Hutchins won 3-0, which was a very, very dominant outcome. John Brzenk and Zorob. John won 3-2. Who were the other guys?
Who did Marcio go against?
Marcio pulled Tobias Sporang, who is a young up-and-comer out of Sweden. I think Sweden or Norway. One of those, Sweden or I think Sweden. Tobias, yeah, he's a beast. He's like, I don't know, 6'5". He's young, in his mid-20s. That guy is a really good future because Marcio won 3-2. I haven't seen the match yet because I was actually out on a bachelor party this weekend, so I couldn't even watch the event. I just got snippets afterwards. But Marcio won 3-2, and supposedly it was a real technical match back and forth. So that was going to be a good match. Marcio had his left-hand match, which he won 3-0. Who else was out there? I don't know.
There was Paul, obviously Paul in.
Yeah, Paul. And, that is awesome that Paul Lynn has been going through the storyline and the trajectory that he's been going. Because he's awesome. He's an inspiration for guys like him that are awesome dudes. He's an awesome person, and he's a relatively quiet guy. He just wants the sport to continue to grow, and just his natural talent at it and how much work he has put in. I mean, it's showing, and he's still growing. I mean, he has so much more to do. It's unbelievable where he's at.
Yeah, and everybody loves him. He's like a people's champion, and everybody cheers for him. Everybody wants him to win, which is that kind of personality is rare. Usually a personality, people have the personality where some people like it, some people don't. Right. He has that kind of persona where he's just the nicest guy and friendly, and he'll go out of his way for you. I mean, he's been on my podcast 3 times,
right?
That's 3 awesome. Times, 4 times, something like that. And just a tremendous. And he has become. I haven't done this lately, but he has become somebody that I'll like. Oh, how about this guy? I'll message him. Is this guy any good? And he'll be like, oh yeah, definitely have him on. Oh yeah, not or he'll be like, not yet, or whatever, And Michelle Dugan does the same thing for me. I'll hit her up and how about this person? How about this girl? How about that girl? And she'll be like, yeah, definitely have her. Don't have him, because I don't know my way around arm wrestling. It's a little bit more difficult with me because I have a variety show, so I'm not. Right. I try to do as much research as possible.
Of course.
And I respect and I admire the arm wrestlers tremendously because the community you guys have is so much better than the bodybuilding community. Bodybuilding community, as much as I'm a fan of bodybuilding, the bodybuilding community is really, really self-centered and selfish. And it's all about the person themselves, and everybody revolves around them, whereas the community in arm wrestling is very, very, the camaraderie is amazing.
Of course, yes.
The camaraderie is absolutely amazing. I hate shitting on bodybuilding like that, but it's right. I went to a bodybuilding show by myself this weekend because I had to find some people to interview, and I was trying, and I was sitting there by myself, and I knew half the people there, but nobody was like, "Hey, John, come on over and sit with us." They don't give a shit,
It's completely different. And
if I go to an arm wrestling tournament, you guys are going to get me drunk. It's completely different. I'll be wasted halfway through.
It is funny that you put it that way, because anytime you walk into an arm wrestling tournament, wherever it may be, I mean, everybody says hello to everybody. Everyone wants to talk to everybody. And then if you beat someone, you're completely open to telling them exactly what happened. Like that's what's amazing about it. And I think it really stems more from just the fact that, I think it's very rare, but you really need a team or a few group of people that you can train with in order to keep progressing. It really is not just a one-man sport. You really need the help of everybody else in order to get you to continue to level up and step up. You really, truly need that. Like I said, without Team Beast Mode, I wouldn't even be anywhere close to where I would be now, because without them, there's no way I would be able to have the knowledge that I have or have all the training that I have. You really need people to rely on in order to get you to continue to step up to the next levels.
All right, great. Only a couple more questions, and then I'm going to let you go. Since we're on the topic of big matches that just passed, let's talk about a big match coming up. Devon and Lavonne. What do you think is going to happen there?
Levin's the heavy favorite, or Lavonne, however you pronounce it. He's the heavy favorite, and I think he's going to continue to be the heavy favorite. Everybody wants Devon to win. Everybody wants Devon to win. As do I. I do too. I want to see the big giant mutant Hulk go down. Everybody wants to see that. Even though it seems like Lavonne is such a cool guy, I everybody wants to see him go down just for the fact that he's a science experiment brought up to the nth degree in the sport. He's gone from however much 150 pounds soaking wet to what he is now.
He looks like a silverback gorilla. It's unbelievable. He's
right. He really does. He really does.
He looks like a Cro-Magnon man. Do you know what I mean? It's like I feel like he's just gonna win and then just hit some girl over the head and drag her by the hair. Come on, man.
So like I said, I definitely want Devon to win. And the thing with Devon, he has the best chance out of anybody, I think, because he's probably really focusing on his loss with Saplankov. He saw the level of power that was the gap between him and Saplankov when he lost with Saplankov, and he knows that gap, and I think he's really focusing on that loss and wanting to apply it to Lavonne, because Devon's one type of guy where if Devon loses to one person, he comes back the next time and he always wins. He always wins the next time. He's one of those guys that really specializes, focuses, studies. He's a magician at what he does. So like I said, I think with his loss to Saplankov, he's really picturing that loss to Saplankov as like a loss to Lavonne. And he's coming back to get his vengeance. So he has the best shot out of anybody to be able to test Lavonne right now. But I still think he's the underdog.
Yeah, I kind of agree with pretty much everything you said. What girls do you like to watch?
In arm wrestling?
Yeah.
Michelle's
in porn, great. Of course.
Michelle's great.
Yeah.
Sarah Bachman is great.
Yeah.
Gabby Vasconcelos is great. Speaking of that, their most recent match that they had, I guess a few months ago now, Gabby ended up winning against Sarah, but Gabby had no more left in the tank. No more left in the tank. Sarah eventually cracked that hand of Gabby. And if there were any other matches that were going to keep going, it was all Sarah, which was wild to see because in the beginning, the gap looked extremely vast in the beginning. Like the strength level, like it looked like Sarah had absolutely no shot. Then she showed that in the last few matches, and that would have changed the whole outcome if there was maybe best of 7 or whatever would have been. That was really interesting. Sarah usually has long heated matches. So she's really cool to watch. Even though she's lightning fast, she's usually at the top level. She has those long matches, and it's really cool to see.
Okay. All right. Very cool, man. Very cool. And so I'm going to ask you to do one thing for me, and then I'm going to let you go. Tell everybody out there in the world to subscribe and like to Serious and Silliness.
Like and subscribe to Serious and Silliness. You're going to get a wide variety of content. Should keep everybody happy.
That's right. Thank you very much, Jason. And listen, much luck to you. Let's keep in touch. If you are in any tournaments, let me know. If I have the time, I will come and check it out. And
Keystones, possibly Keystones.
Oh, that's in PA, right?
Yeah, Paul and James Reed's event. That's one of the biggest East Coast events that have transpired over the last few years. Keystone States. Yeah. So if there's any event that you want to go to, it is definitely that one. If you want to see talent, that's usually deep stacked classes.
All right, I'm gonna have to see if I can get my ass there this year because I did not go there last year. All right, Jason, thank you very much, man. Much love, much respect, and all the luck in the world in the future for you, man. I really, really, really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate it, Tom.
You got it. I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, man.
Later.